So this is about the victims. It's about getting people in court. You know, the Creature, Southport murders, Lucy Letby. Watch this space on that one. That's not done and dusted, is it? Thomas Cashman and others refusing to appear in court. Families don't have their day, don't have justice. See them get the sentence or whatever. People are not understanding the logistics. Starting at prison, which I'll talk about in a bit, getting people to court and getting them up in the dock. Yeah, about getting justice for victims. Well, we're talking about serious cases here. Murder, where people force themselves on women and children. People who are looking a long time in jail. Judges are going to have the power to give extra time. You know, 2 years added to the sentence. That's not going to make an F's difference. It's really not. These people are looking at serious time anyway. And it's on about disruption. Somebody who's disruptive in court. Judges, you know, can have an influence on privileges in prison. No extra gym time and the like, locked behind the doors. Again, it's not going to work. What's that? For a few weeks, a month, forever? If it was forever, fine, you know. Someone's locked behind the door forever with no gym or any privileges because they've kicked off or refused to attend court. But it's not, is it? Because human rights comes into all this, doesn't it? So it's not actually that much power. And again, 2 years. You know, the worst narcissist I've ever seen in my life went to court, looking at 35 years. He showed remorse. He showed not one beam of remorse ever. In court, you know, a few tears and all that. Judge fell for it. 5 years off his sentence. All wrong. So let's talk about the logistics of what we're talking about here. And again, I understand families, you know, wanting to have your day and that, but I've sat in a dock in court, not a full sentence, 6 months long. It's boring being a dock officer in court. Long trials. Might have 4 or 5 days, even longer, just going through phone numbers. Boom. Officers have fallen asleep. One, biggest bully, horrible, nasty piece of crap. Yeah, snoring that loud, the judge had him removed. Removed from court. How embarrassing is that? But yeah, a trial sat with 7 young lads, looking at murder charges, serious time, jeering, laughing. Yeah, witnesses behind screens laughing. They knew it were, calling the names out, calling the addresses out, generally being disruptive. What do? Yeah, you can't do anything in court. You know, there weren't enough staff to deal with them. Court box wasn't big enough. I completely understand again, victims, families, friends, people in court wanting to have their day. But sometimes, you know, maybe it's just not worth it. Imagine, and it has happened, somebody looking at big time, ridiculing families, you know, staring, making gestures and the like. Deeply upsetting. Any benefit to the families? I don't think so. So this bill, illustrious, gets more illustrious by the day, Prime Minister is following up on what our previous illustrious Prime Minister Richie started. Family and Courts Bill, something like that it's called. So let's look at prison, yeah? So a judge has decided that somebody who's looking at a long time in prison needs to attend court, so he's on a landing. Use of force, CNR, control and restraint that we use on prisoners, yeah? It's got to be, and these are words we use them in paperwork, necessary, appropriate, things like this. Judge has said, I want him in court. You need to go to court, lad, judge wants you. Not going, Miss Samworth. What are you going to do about it? So he's stood on a landing. He's not offering violence. He's not offering resistance. Yeah? We're just going to grab hold of him, restrain him, put him in cuffs, take him to reception. Is that what we're going to do? Let's suppose now he's pissed because we put hands on, so he's in reception. Before they leave prison for court, there needs to be strip search. Strip searching someone under restraint. Strip searching for me it's a horrible part of the job. Yeah, it's nasty. When I ended up doing that, you always try and make it or be as decent as possible. It's a horrible, horrible job. Stripping someone under restraint, nightmare. We then get them on the bus, the sweatbox to court. Yeah, they refuse to get off the other end, and we're putting hands on again. Yeah, we've got them in a court cell. Judge wants them upstairs. We're putting hands on again. You see what I'm saying? Logistics. And let me tell you something now. Right, the legal profession, everyone has a right to counsel, legal protection and the like, but let me tell you this. CNR paperwork, the paperwork I do when I restrain someone and put hands on, for me, it has to tell a story. So in 10 years' time, if I'm in court and I'm given my paperwork, when I read it to a judge, they know what my part was. Smithy kicked off, I dropped him. Would not suffice. And here's the other thing when I'm talking about the legal stuff around prison. What solicitors, legal firms were doing at a 9-year point, so their client has been restrained by me and some other lads 9 years ago. They're then producing it, sending it to prison. You assaulted my client 9 years ago. Yeah, that's what they're saying. You have to produce the paperwork. You can't produce the paperwork. Boom, ka-ching. They've got a claim. If you do produce the paperwork and it doesn't tell a story, boom, ka-ching. They've won the claim. Yeah? So your paperwork has to be bang on. It has to tell a story. You're now seeing that this turning up, and we're not talking about a lot of people. We're talking about the worst of the worst, really. Brian, I don't know what you're eating, but you can sling it. Go on. Go on. Let's just have a look at him and I'll take a breath. Yeah, we're not talking about a lot of people, are we? The most serious. For me, video link is the one. You know, in prison, they're in the video link. We had, again, point and fact. You know, the creature who committed them horrendous crimes in Southport, in a room, covering his face and the like. Again, I understand the families. But that's appropriate, isn't it? And if they verbalise, start kicking off or whatever, you can turn the screen off or you can turn the sound down. We don't cause people who suffered, you know, the worst of crimes, will suffer for the rest of their lives. We don't cause them any more trauma. So this bill, Victims and Courts Bill, whatever it's going to be called, I hope you're starting to see now. I understand where they're coming from, the principles, but actually following that up. And human rights, I can imagine it now. Someone's just got 35 years. A judge has said, no, Jim, none of this, kept behind his door. Bam! Legal teams all over it. Human rights, claims, just causes conflict, doesn't it, for the prison service? Difficult as it is. And like I say, you know, do we want to be assaulting people, because that's what it is, who are offering no resistance and no violence, just to get them in court where they may well kick off? Just gonna leave it there, guys. Brian, come here. Brian. Yep, obedient as ever. Listen, guys, God bless you all. We need to stand together, toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder. Nothing wrong with being a patriot. Absolutely not. Thanks for your continued support. Thanks for coming. I'll see you there.